What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Our Lawn. Today is soil test day. I'm not going to show you how to do a soil test. I've already done videos on that. There are quite literally thousands of videos. You can go find one for yourself on how to pull the soil, get it, send it off. The majority of this video is going to be talking about the progress I've made in terms of the soil readings, but I do want to show you one thing real quick since I now have a hole cutter and what may be the greatest tool you can possibly have to pull a core. None of you are going to have this, so it's just kind of fun to show, but it's kind of interesting. So let's do that quick. So like I said, this isn't going to be really a how to use soil test. It's more just me talking about the results that I've had and the impact I've been able to have on my soil outside, based on what I've seen in previous soil tests, what I've done, and where I've gotten to. So with that, we can get to the current soil test. All right, so here then we are in the backyard, which has been a little bit more consistently treated, whereas the front yard we're moving in phases to renovate that. NP and K still very low, and that is even after putting 1 pound per thousand in terms of NP and K applications of a 10-10-10, and then coming back and putting, or excuse me, half pound twice, and then coming back and both times as well putting 1 pound of potassium down to the sulfate of potash. And we're still not there with potassium. But what has been happening is with all the potassium we've been putting in is calcium and magnesium have been coming down, and we can talk about that when we get to the trend lines. And pH is still a little bit high. And then we can move to, this is the front yard. NP, P and K are a little bit higher up front for whatever reason. Largely the same programs we've been running. Calcium, magnesium still high, pH still high. So now we can move into talking a little bit about what it used to look like and then kind of where we're at now. So these unfortunately don't have the fancy bar graphs that we can follow over time, and maybe I could do that, but I don't want to. But on screen here, and hopefully you can see it on mobile, these are, I did in April of 2019 soil tests. That was front and backyard. You can see nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium very low, pH high, calcium and magnesium very high. Then the fall of 2019, again, full yard. We'd brought phosphorus stayed the same. We brought potassium up a little bit. We brought calcium and magnesium down a little bit. And we brought the pH down a little bit. So progress towards what we're trying to accomplish. Then September 20, this is when we moved into the Yard Mastery branded soil test from the My Soil or Soil Savvy branded soil test. And for whatever reason, calcium and magnesium here, when we did that reading, went way up from where it was over here. But whatever, we just continue to make those adjustments. Front yard and backyard, we had brought both potassium and phosphorus up again. So making progress throughout 2020 in terms of continuing to address the issues that we had. pH out front was very, very high. And then pH in the back, we brought down a little bit. And then you can get into the soil test that I just showed you, which both the front and backyard, actually the back, for whatever reason, phosphorus and potassium went down, despite the fact that I'm doing the same applications that I did in the front yard, where it went up. So there's probably a lot that could be going on. Inconsistency in soil depth, inconsistency in when and how I'm going about collecting the samples. Who knows? You know, I'm not overly concerned with the finite information here and there. Beyond, I just want to be able to attack shortfalls, and I want to be able to track progress that I'm making, because that's really all I'm using this for. I'm just using it to identify major nutrient deficiencies. If I'm honest, I'm really not paying a lot of attention to micronutrients. I'm just trying to get macronutrients where they need to be, and pH. And the other thing is you know, I watched the podcast with Alan Hain on how My Soil, or I can't remember the company name, on how they do their soil testing. and how it works and how it reads. And I think that's kind of cool and interesting. But I think this fall I'm going to do another one of these, and then I will also alongside do some sort of lab test, just to get a different test and see if they're consistent, or see if I get different results, different readings, and then kind of build from there, and then make a determination on whether I want to keep using the Yard Mastery soil kit, or if I want to move to a more dedicated lab type test. So we'll make that determination in the fall. Right now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to continue to be rolling 10-10-10s. I've already done one application of that this year. My next one might be the Yard Mastery 12-12-12, just to get some micronutrients out there. And yeah, just going to keep kind of doing what I'm doing. I probably will finally do sulfur this year at some rates. I don't know. I don't know the math in terms of how much I need, but clearly what I've been doing hasn't quite been enough to get my pH where it needs to be and make that adjustment. So we'll make a little bit more dedicated sulfur application, continue to try to get potassium up, probably address what is some of the reasons why I have disease issues, which is issues with potassium and plant health there in terms of fighting resilience, fighting off disease. But yeah, that's my kind of soil test results, soil test progress and trends over time. Let me know maybe in the comments down below what you've been doing, what you've been finding, if you've been having success in addressing the soil issues that you had, or if you haven't. Again, I'm not necessarily the person to answer those questions, but I would be interested to know what you've been doing and if you've been having any level of success. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to the channel because the next video is going to be unpacking kind of everything I've learned with having a natural grass putting green in the backyard, what you're going to need to do, and based on what you have and what you're doing, what sort of expectations you should have. So that video will be coming out soon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.